Hi, I'm John Hokenschneider with the VOD 3, and today we're going to be diving into the DM7 and how it can have one mega show file that can handle 95% of the shows that I work on, and maybe you too. Check out our career section below if you want to join a group of professionals, no matter where you are in your career, whether you're starting or you're a seasoned veteran. So now let's talk about some of the things I wish I knew diving into the DM7 that would have helped make my workflow a little bit faster. One of the things is if you're in the single channel view and you start opening up some of these boxes such as your EQ or your dynamic section, it's kind of wonky to just go back and close out of the dialog box. And if you move into the full 12 channel section, your exit button is now over there. What really makes your workflow a little bit faster is if you just add the home button into your workflow. So if you want to get out of a menu, just hit the home button. It's nice, quick, and easy. And it took me a while to realize that if you were in the single channel section, you wanted to view that full 12 channel section, just hit the home button twice. Another thing I wish I knew moving into the DM7 was about the rack effects. Now I thought you would have to go into this menu here and individually add each effect as you wanted from this menu. Again, that would have been another case to use the home button a little bit faster. But really, you can access where you want to put your rack effects in the individual channels itself. It's not quite obvious though. Down here, right above the pan section, there's a couple of these icons that are really rack mount units, but to untrained eye, it just looks like a gray box. But if you add that, you can add your effects just from the actual channel itself, and then hit the home button and return back, and I can actually see right here that it's added that effect right into that channel. And you can choose at which point you want those effects inserted. So it's a good workflow to have an idea ahead of time of what you might want to build into those effects racks, and then come into each individual channel and add them in as you see necessary. Another thing I wish I knew was where to find the auto mixer, and the easiest way to get to the auto mixer is by the icons that are across the top in the head amp section. It's this little icon here, and it's the double D's facing each opposite directions, and this is where you can add your channels to the auto mixer. So one of our core values here at VOD 3 is seek to simplify. Now, I do a lot of different types of shows. A lot of it is corporate, but sometimes I also do those bands and those little one-off things. Now, the DM7 is a perfect platform for all of those. You can build a show file that is a great template to work on for any of it. So let's take a look at one of the show files I've already built for this console. So over here on my left screen, I've got all my wireless mics. I have 12 just to start with. That seems to be like a good number for the typical shows that I do. Moving on to the next fader bank, I've got some podium mics, some stage inputs for things like a presenter laptop, some backup microphones, and some room mics. Next, I've got my playback machines, so things like videos and PowerPoints that may have videos embedded in them. I like to have that on my next fader bank, as well as a Zoom computer. Then I built out a full festival plot for myself. That gives me a lot of room to have different instruments. I've got a full drum section with kicks, ins, and outs. I've got even pads built into that. Got a lot of percussion, some bass channels, electrics, horns, keys, clicks and tracks. I've got an acoustic section and then all my wired vocal microphones. Now I don't have to use all of those channels, but I already have it done. So when I decide that I need that channel, I can then bring it into my custom fader bank. So let's actually look at one of my custom fader banks. I've built this out for my corporate section, and I've already added that to my user-defined keys. So I decided in this mock show that I only have 8 wireless microphones that I'm using. So I went ahead and loaded those first 8 over here. I built in a podium microphone, and now I have things available like my royalty-free music. I've got QLab or things I may play from a Stream Deck, and just my general house music. So I've built this section out to be more of my inputs, and I've got some inputs over here, but I've also got some further processing and outputs on this side. So again, over here I've got things like my Zoom computer, I've got my playback machines, my NAT mics, so I can mix those in to the video feed. I've got my video feed over here that I can easily grab and make adjustments to, as well as my lav bus, my handheld bus that I will make general overall corrections with, like EQ. And I've also got a podium bus. So I've added that in that I could quickly grab it. I stay heads up. I don't get buried in menus, and I can do quick corrections quickly, which is very important, and then kind of return my focus back to the show, make sure I'm watching what's happening up on stage much easier. So to give a little bit of a recap, we went through building a mega show file for this mega desk that's in a small compact format, and some of the helpful tips and tricks that I would have liked to have known going in. I think it'll help you out too. Once again, I just want to remind you, we're hiring if you want to join our team. Thanks for watching.